Hello Sanity Seekers, thank you for joining me again, or for the first time. As you can see today, I'm going to show you how I made a Medusa. I am quite fascinated with Medusa. I love her story. I love all the versions of her story. No, I don't. I lie. I actually hate that Perseus, or whatever the dick's name was, came and killed her in her own home for no reason except for some jerk told him to. That annoys me. But if you look at the story from the angle of that she was given these snakes and these powers as a form of protection for herself and for others, and that she was a woman for woman, that I can get down with. That is cool. So not so much that she was punished, but she was given gifts, and that she was not a horrible monster, but she was beautiful and she was strong, and that's what I'm hoping to get across in my sculpture. As you can see, I've already started off by getting an old wooden drawer, and I've just covered in some PVA glue to seal it so that everything I stick to it sticks and it's not porous anymore. And then I've got some pieces of foam. One is an insert from a shoe, and another is just a block of foam that I've cut around and sculpted it basically to try and get my head shape. And then I have used some foam clay to slowly build up and gain my shape. I've used some more foam clay to attach my rocks and my moss to the inside of the drawer. The drawer itself will be a frame encasing my sculpture. I've glued a mirror at the back just to give it a bit more depth. And now I'm going to give this epoxy clay a go. I've never used it before, and it was pretty cool. It was very strong. And I think a good tip is to use lots of water. Just ignore those glass eyes. I tried, but I ended up covering it up. So here I am making my Medusa face. She looks ugly as hell, I'm aware, but she does get prettier as I go. I don't have any major tips as far as sculpting. I just did my best. I think looking at front on, excuse me, and then looking at side on a lot is helpful in trying to get your shape. Just putting these fancy bits on the side of my drawer, and these will hold the device that will make my snakes move. I'm using just a loop of some description that I found just to make the shape of the eyes the same size. And as I was working, I found a wet sponge was really good to try and smooth off the surface as much as I could. After my Medusa was all dry, I decided to paint her green. She is often depicted as green, and I used the gradients in colour, just as we do with makeup, to try and make her prettier. So I've used lots of contouring. This tool was useful in getting a hairy texture for her eyebrows. and all the paint is in acrylic. The eyes were done with something called moon paint, which is some kind of thick resin type paint. It is super pretty. And here I am making some snakes, which I end up ditching anyway, so I didn't go too much into that. They turned out all janky and I end up doing something else. I've got all the spikes on ahead to attach my snakes. And here I am attaching said snakes. I think the theory was okay, but the application wasn't. I glued on a necklace and some really pretty bling for earrings and as a headdress. A few details here and there, just to make her a little bit prettier. Here are some book spine molds that I used to decorate the frame, the edging around the drawer. I painted them black and then put some details over the front with some copper acrylic and mica and just played with it to try and make it a bit prettier. Basically all that gold leaf comes straight back off anyway, so that was fun. And here I am trying to get these snakes to work. That's what I ended up with. And from there I put it in the too hard basket for about a month while I rejigged my plan. I decorated in around the bottom. I put crystals and some jade rock, because jade, if you're not aware, is also excellent for protection, and our sculpture is all about protection. And these, I think, are handles or something. I'm not exactly sure what they are, but I use them to make little legs. And again with the foam clay at the top, where I will attach some more crystals, some more jade and some more moss. You can see on my device here I've also got some beads. This will help me keep the loop where I need it to stay when I've attached all the snakes. So here I am trying to use it very unsuccessfully, and I became very sad. Very, very sad. And somewhat annoyed. So then I ordered this stuff, which is pretty cool. It's kind of springy. It's like a netting tube, and I cut it out into 9-inch lengths. And this is what I used for my snakies. It was a much better idea. So I cut the heads off and I used the heads. Waste not, want not. I also kept the bodies aside because I thought maybe I could make like funky trees or something down the track with them for some other artwork. You just never know. So I gained a bit of a technique in gluing this tube on. As you can see, the head's quite large, the tube's quite small, but if you twist it a little bit, it kind of frays the end and lets it spread over the neck. And I've got that tacky glue, that tacky craft glue that is just awesome. So it dries quick, it hangs on quick. And I glued on some cute little eyes for our snakes as well, because we're fancy. Nice. The green Diamantes I used. That is a swish little snaky. adorable. Okay, we have all our snakes. Let's pop them aside so we can glue them on. I've got our Medusa glued in place. You know, we had all the drama with the janky snakes, and now I'm using the same twisty, pushy on technique to put our little snakies onto our Medusa, so she has hair now. I kind of liked how this was springy and it moved a lot more fluently. I was considering putting something inside the tubes to give it weight, but found that I didn't need to. See that tiny dot? That is called a crimp. It is the tiniest thing ever, but it is excellent to use with tiger tail, which is this cord that I'm using. It's a steel cable that's coated in acrylic, and I'm just looping it around our little device at the top there and pushing the crimp up into place, and then I squish it because it's metal, and then it holds everything where it needs to. I'm putting that through our hole, and from here on it's kind of just fiddling. I use a crimp above and below where I thread the snake so that my cord doesn't get caught up or feels like it doesn't need to come back down again as the snake moves. So I take that option away by putting a crimp at the top and at the bottom of where the cord is inserted. And from here on it's just fiddling and playing and trying to figure out which snakes I want to move and how I want them to move.